The room smelled of dust and memories. Sunlight filtered through the old curtains, illuminating floating particles in the air. On the wooden floor stood a chest, worn, scratched, and locked away for decades. Sarah knelt in front of it, her fingers trembling as she turned the rusty key she had found in her late mother's drawer. The chest creaked open, revealing faded fabrics, brittle photographs, and keepsakes from another life. But tucked beneath a pile of yellowed dresses was something she had never seen before. A bundle of envelopes, bound together with a piece of frayed twine. Her breath caught. Each envelope bore her name, written in a familiar hand she had not seen since childhood. Sarah. It was her father's handwriting, the father she barely remembered, the soldier who had left when she was 4 years old and never returned. Sarah carried the bundle to the table. She sat in silence, staring at the letters as though they might vanish if she blinked. Her mother had never spoken much about her father, just that he was brave, and that war took him. There had been no stories, no details, only a photograph in uniform that hung on the hallway wall. Now, here he was, his words sealed away in fragile envelopes, waiting for her decades later. Her hands shook as she tore open the first letter. My dearest Sarah, by the time you can read this, I may already be far from home. Tonight you are asleep in your bed, clutching your toy rabbit, unaware that your father is packing his uniform and boots. I kissed your forehead, and you stirred but didn't wake. I want you to know something. Your laugh is the brightest sound in my world. The way you chase butterflies in the yard, the way you run to me with open arms when I return from drills. It is those moments I will carry with me into the battlefield. I don't know what the war will take from me, but I promise it will never take my love for you. Sarah pressed the paper to her lips. Tears blurred the words. She had never imagined her father wrote to her, never imagined he had left behind pieces of himself. The second and third letters told of long nights in the barracks, the sound of distant artillery, the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. But each letter always circled back to her. He wrote about how she should never stop drawing, because he had once seen her scribble stars on a napkin. He wrote about how she should always be kind to animals, because the way she fed the neighbor's cat reminded him of compassion in its purest form. Every word was laced with love, but also with a quiet fear. In one letter, he admitted, if the worst happens, if I do not return, promise me you'll look for the light in the smallest of places, the way sunlight falls on leaves, the sound of rain against the window. That is how you will know I'm still with you. Sarah clutched the letter against her chest. For years she had grown up believing her father had left her with nothing. But here, in her hands, was proof that he had never truly left. Sarah, life is not measured by victories or medals. It is measured by moments of tenderness. I have seen men try to be brave by hiding their fear, but true courage is admitting it and still moving forward. If you ever feel small, remember this. You were the reason I found courage. Not the flag, not the uniform, just you. She paused, the weight of his words sinking into her bones. She remembered growing up, struggling with school, wishing for advice, wishing for a father's voice to guide her. And now, decades later, she heard him. There were 6 letters in total. 5 she read through tears, through pauses, through whispered prayers of gratitude. But the 6th was different. The paper was thinner, the ink faded more, as though it had been written in haste. Her heart pounded as she opened it. My sweet Sarah, the night is heavy, and tomorrow we march toward what may be my final battle. I will not lie, I am afraid, but it is not death I fear. It is leaving you before I could teach you how to live. So here is my last lesson. Love without hesitation. Speak kindly, even when the world is unkind. And when you are lost, look up at the stars. Somewhere, I will be looking too. If you ever wonder what kind of man your father was, know this. I was a man who lived for the hope of seeing his daughter grow. And if I never make it home, remember this one truth. You were, and always will be, my greatest victory. The signature at the bottom was shaky but unmistakable. Captain Daniel Carter, her father. Sarah sat at the table long after the last letter slipped from her hands. Outside, the sky deepened into twilight. She imagined him, young, dressed in his uniform, writing by lantern light, pouring his soul into paper he hoped one day would reach her, but it never had. Her mother, perhaps, had hidden them away, protecting her from the pain, or protecting herself. Sarah felt a rush of emotions, anger, sorrow, gratitude. She rose and walked to the hallway where the photograph of her father still hung. For the first time, she didn't see just a uniform. She saw the man behind it, the man who wrote of stars and toy rabbits and love stronger than war. That night, Sarah placed the letters in a box by her bedside. She read them again and again until she could recite the lines by heart. In the weeks that followed, she began writing letters of her own, to her children, to her future self, to anyone who might one day need to know her heart. Her father had taught her, even in absence, that words outlive time. That love, captured on paper, is a legacy stronger than silence. And so, the unopened letters that had once been hidden in an old chest became a beacon, not of loss, but of connection. Because even though war had taken him, love had found a way back to her. The last letter wasn't really an ending. It was the beginning of a story she would carry and pass on forever.